should we? There is some background.
अनम्यूट नहीं हुआ.
Unmuted me as well. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Hina ma'am as well?
Yes, I'm unmuted. Please go ahead.
Okay. Vidyam dadati vinayam, vinayadayati patratam, patratvat dhanmapnoti, dhanat dharm sukham. अर्थात विज्ञान हमें विनम्रता प्रदान करता है. विनम्रता से योग्यता आती है और योग्यता से हमें धन प्राप्त होता है. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really a pleasure to conduct this student webinar. I welcome our principal ma'am, Dr. Hina Nandrajo, who has been a guiding force amidst the era of turbulence all around. Would like to thank Amit from English department for all the technical support that he would be providing for today's event. Would like to introduce Vivekanand committee members. Sunil Verma,
Yes.
from psychology department. Has he joined?
Yes, he's here.
Dr. Sunil
Yes.
Verma, please unmute him.
He's not visible.
Not
He's
visible.
there. He's there.
Yeah, he would be there.
Yeah. Sunil sir. Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Sunil.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Good to see you. Okay. Dr. Kamini Taneja from Sanskrit department.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Kamini.
Good afternoon, everyone, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Dr. Dilip Kumar Jaiswal from Sanskrit department. Has he joined us?
He was visible. Dilip sir. Dilip sir.
Oh, you are playing puzzles, Amit.
Oh, actually, there are so many participants, no?
It's okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Seema Sharma from EVS department.
Okay.
I didn't see her earlier. Okay.
He hasn't joined yet, I guess.
Okay. And student volunteers for our committee, Kirti Rana. I saw her joining. Kirti Rana. Disha.
Disha is here. Disha Jain,
Disha.
Disha Bharti.
Disha.
Only Disha, Disha Jain or Disha Bharti. There are two Dishas.
I don't know. No, she's part of English honors, Disha.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
He
okay.
hasn't joined.
Payal. Okay. Payal. And Jivika Sharma, also one of the volunteers of Vivekanand committee. I saw her joining. I believe they are unable to unmute. Yeah, something.
Ma'am.
Hi, Payal. This is another volunteer of our Vivekananda committee.
Yes, ma'am.
Would like to add something about our committee. Our committee started in the year 2018-19, and the committee in itself believes in the ideology of Swami Vivekananda: arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is achieved. So we tried to connect students of all courses by conducting various activities like essay writing, written quiz, extempore, and that was also bilingual, inter-college declamation contest. All were based on the thoughts and ideas of Swami Vivekananda. And recently, in the month of January, we celebrated Swami Vivekananda's birth anniversary by conducting a a very interactive session by Divya Nanda Pranaji from Sharda Mission on the topic Swami Vivekananda's message to the youth of India. And this was followed by poster making competition, and which was also based on the theme Unity in Diversity. And would like to add on here that last year we celebrated Swami Vivekananda's birth anniversary, when at that time Dr. Nityanand Agasti delivered a talk on Swami Vivekananda, the icon of youth. And now is the time to introduce our speaker, Dr. Nityanand Agasti. Dr. Nityanand Agasti is inspired by Swami Vivekananda, and he is actively engaged in disseminating Swami Vivekananda's message. Excuse me, आज तुम नहीं ना, आज वो भी नहीं ना. Amit, please help me out.
Yes, did that. Just a second, ma'am. Just a second. Yeah, you are unmuted, ma'am.
Thank you. We were here that today's speaker, Dr. Nityanand Agasti, he is inspired by Swami Vivekananda, and he is actively engaged in disseminating Swami Vivekananda's message to youth. He has played leading roles in different organizations following Swami Vivekananda's philosophy, and he is working for actualizing the mission as well as the vision of Swami Vivekananda at Vivekananda Kendra, Delhi. He is a great speaker who has been addressing youth on the ideals of Swami Vivekananda and other issues of national importance as well. And with this, over to Principal Ma'am for address. Hina Ma'am. Hina Ma'am. Hina Ma'am.
Just a second, ma'am.
Okay.
Hina ma'am is unmuted, ma'am.
Hello, Hina Ma'am.
No.
I'll just give her a call. Maybe she's on some call.
Unmute myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it is.
Thank you, ma'am. Mute everyone, Amit.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Speak.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nalini, for organizing this, and thank you, Dr. Agasti, for agreeing to speak to our students. I know कि हम बहुत मुश्किल दौर से गुजर रहे हैं और हमारे students के लिए बहुत मुश्किल है कॉलेज ना आना, डायरेक्ट इंटरैक्शन ना करना अपने टीचर्स से. हालांकि टीचर्स अपनी तरफ से कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि उनके साथ कांटेक्ट में रहे. आप भी पढ़ा रहे हैं और आप भी ये चीज जानते होंगे कि कितना मुश्किल है. आई एम हैप्पी टू सी कि हमारे बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हमारे साथ इस वेबिनार में हैं, एंड आई होप दैट दे आर ऑल सेफ एंड दे आर हेल्थी, and we are always there for them. I just want to give them this message. And about the topic, हम बात कर रहे हैं ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की. I think we are actually living through transformational times. अब everybody is talking about that now life will be defined by pre-COVID period, post-COVID-19 period. और शायद इसमें हमें अपने आप को ढूंढना है, and we have to become better than we are, and achieve more than we can even think of achieving. And I think this is going to be a particularly inspirational talk, because we talk of how a man became Swami Vivekananda, how Narendranath became Swami Vivekananda, and that holds lessons for all of us. Let us hope that जैसे डॉक्टर अगस्ती ने स्वामी विवेकानंद के आइडियल्स अपनी लाइफ में उतार लिए हैं, उससे हम सब भी कुछ सीख सके और उससे अच्छा हम और अच्छा बन सके. Thank you so much. I will invite Dr. Agasti now to speak. Thank you.
Nalini ma'am, you are unmuted.
Yeah. Thank you, Hina ma'am. Let's begin today's webinar on the topic Narendranath to Swami Vivekanand, key messages of transformation. Students, there is a small guidelines for you. Please take care. Just to remind you that please don't interrupt the speaker in between. And if you have any query or question, you can write that in the chat box. Questions will be taken at the end. With this, I would request Dr. Agasti to begin today's session. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Agasti.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Namaste. Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Respected Principal, Madam Dr. Hena Nandarajog, and convener of this webinar, and Vivekananda Society of Vivekananda College, Dr. Nalini, and my dear students and other colleagues who have joined this webinar. Very good afternoon to all of you again. Welcome to this webinar on topic transformation of Narendranath Datta to Swami Vivekananda. What are the key messages? It is a pleasure talking on Swami Vivekananda, especially during this crisis. When you speak about Vivekananda, read about Vivekananda, you get extra energy. So I think this is a very suitable time and suitable topic we have chosen, and particularly organized by Vivekananda Society of Vivekananda College, and I'm going to speak on Vivekananda, and that too on a relevant day, that is past May. I do not know how many of you are aware of this relevance of this 1st May 1897, after Swami Vivekananda returned from West. Formally, he established Ramakrishna Mission on this date. So this is a very good opportunity to talk on Swami Vivekananda to students of Vivekananda College. I've been to Vivekananda College, as already spoken by Dr. Nalini. I've spoken there once. I visited the principal office. I remember all the photographs of Vivekananda, Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Sister Nivedita, so many powerful quotations of Swami Vivekananda. I hope the faculty members and students must have visited that principal's room and must have read those powerful quotations. When I was invited by Dr. Nalini to speak on Swami Vivekananda during this lockdown period, and when the whole world is facing an unprecedented crisis, I started thinking on what should be the topic on which I should speak. Then I decided to speak on key messages of transformation of Narendranath Datta to Swami Vivekananda. I am happy that many of the students, I can see the number, Amit ji was saying 186 students, you have shown your interest in this and are taking part in this webinar.
Amit,
I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share with you some key messages from this transformation. What is there for us to learn today, and how are these going to help us in today's life? As Madam Principal said, during COVID and post-COVID life, we are going to face new challenges. And let me assure you, these transformational messages of Swami Vivekananda is very pertinent to have a fruitful life post-COVID situation. And I hope it will certainly add values to your learnings. So in today's webinar, what am I going to cover? Let me tell you the points in brief. I'm going to cover those. What transformed an ordinary student Narendranath Datta, known as Naren, into Swami Vivekananda, a world figure, and now no more a person but an institution for not only India but for the whole world. Considered as icon for youth and recognizing his contribution, Government of India declared his birthday, that is 12th January, as National Youth Day. So we are going to discuss the transformational messages. What are the key factors those made him transformed? And how was the relationship between Narendranath and his Guru Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa? How important it is, a role of a teacher, being all of us being part of educational institution. It's very important to understand what role his Guru Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa played in transforming a ordinary personality to an extraordinary world teacher. What are the take-home messages for us? And how are those messages relevant today, particularly at this period of crisis and also during post-corona crisis, post-corona challenges, post-lockdown challenges? So my talk will be confined on these points. Narendranath Datta, son of Vishwanath Datta and Bhuvaneshwari Devi, took birth on 12th January 1863, the Makar Sankranti, at Kolkata. A questioning from his childhood, a questioning mind, not an ordinary child. He was a questioning child, not ready to believe anything without experiencing or experimenting. Having taken birth in a respectable family, having father a renowned attorney at law at Kolkata High Court. So he saw, and his mother also a religious mother, and this Naren, since his childhood, had interest for our ancient texts, rich cultural practices, rich heritage of this country. He was inclined to all this, reading Ramayan, the interaction between Ramakrishna Paramahansa would have been a good singer. So he was a very good singer as well. So having interest for spirituality, had always question in mind, can I meet the God? For that, he kept on questioning many prominent personalities, kept on asking, have you seen God? But he could not find satisfactory answers. Before he could meet Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa at Dakshineswar, and the year was 1881, he first met Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa. As I have said, before meeting Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he has asked many personalities, many dignitaries about his query to meet God. Have you seen God? Can you let me meet God? But there was no satisfactory answers. After meeting Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he could realize, yes, here is a person who can let me meet God. So somehow Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa could generate an amount of confidence in him meet God. When Narendranath asked Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, have you seen God? Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, yes, I've seen him. I see Indra got assurance, got assured. Yes, let me meet. So that was the first interaction between Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa and Narendranath. Many interaction goes on at Dakshineswar. In 1884, there was a difficult time for Narendranath, young Narendranath. Vishwanath Datta, his father, got passed away. So here started miserable time for his family, the difficult time for his family. So Narendra, obviously, he felt asking for help to his guru, Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, particularly the material context, because the father was the only earning member and he faced financial trouble. So he could find some kind of help from Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, go and meet Ma Kali at Dakshineswar Mandir, offer him your prayer, ask him for help, ask her for help. So Narendranath went to the temple and offered his prayer and tried to ask, but he could not ask for any kind of material help or financial support for his family. He comes back, shares his experience with his guru Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa. This is what happening. I am going to ask for some material help, but I am unable to ask for some material help. What am I asking? Give me knowledge, give me renunciation, give me devotion. Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa again asks him, you go again offer prayer, ask Mother Kali, he can help you, he can solve your problem. So thrice he attempted. Narendra went and offered prayer before Mother Kali, but he could not succeed in asking for any kind of material help or financial support for his family. Only he could ask is for knowledge for himself, renunciation and devotion. So here shows a realization of one message we can take here from Swami Vivekananda. The message we are getting is Swami Vivekananda realized there material help is not going to help him. Material support or financial support is not going to help him. So he explored the selflessness, not to ask for himself. So that is the first message. Normally we hanker for financial help, for our own help, for support for ourselves only. We do not bother about others' difficulties. There are many other brothers and sisters living in this country not even able to arrange one-time food for them. So this is one of the messages, key messages we can get from here, which Swami Vivekananda realized: selflessness. No selfish requirement, nothing to require for yourself only. So what he asked: knowledge, wisdom, renunciation and devotion. So then he said it, and finally Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, as a, blessings of Ma Kali, the problems of his family got solved to some extent with the help of his other disciples. Anyways, we'll proceed further from here. Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa and Vivekananda keep on interacting, and the major duration or key duration of interaction is when Ramakrishna was going through his illness, and he became more closer and he got more spiritual experiences from his teacher. It is said it is not the spiritual guidance from his guru, but the intense love between guru and shishya. The love of Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa transformed this young Narendranath. So the message is love between teacher and taught. That's the message we are getting from here. So it is said, More than Ramakrishna's spiritual guidance and support, it is his love for his disciple which conquered the young Narendranath. So Ramakrishna once asked during his illness, before Ramakrishna got his Mahasamadhi on 1886, before this, Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa once asked Narendra, you are so curious to meet God. Okay, let us see. Let's say you meet God once, you met God. So what are you going to ask him for yourself? So Narendra said, I am going to ask for Nirvikalpa Samadhi for myself. Then listening this, which is normally regarded as the highest spiritual experience. That's what Swami Vivekananda expressed. I am going to ask for highest spiritual experience, that is Nirvikalpa Samadhi for myself. The Guru admonished him saying, shame on you. I thought you'd grow like a huge banyan tree, sheltering thousands from scorching misery of this world. But now I can see you seek your own liberation. So then here is another very turning point for Swami Vivekananda. He realized, I was here asking a question to meet God. My Guru said me he will let me meet God. Now he's asking, if I meet God, what am I going to ask? Normally for an ordinary person, what you normally ask for from God? You ask highest spiritual experience from God. And that's what I expressed. But why my Guru is admonishing me? Then he realized that means something else has to be done by me. Something great has to be done by me. So then he realized his mission of his life. What is the purpose of my life? Purpose of my life is not to live for myself. They only live who live for others. Rest are more than dead than alive. Rest are more dead than alive. That's what the famous quote of Swami Vivekananda. So Swami Vivekananda here realized again a powerful message, not to live for myself. I have to live for others, for a greater cause. Then finally, Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, his Mahasamadhi takes place in 1886. In 1888, Narendranath started exploring his mission of his life to understand this great country, to read about this great country. What is great about this country? How was this ancient history, ancient past of this country was so great? About the great cultural heritage of this country, he started exploring all these, not by sitting on a library, reading good number of books, but by he tried to get experience, first-hand experience. How? By moving across the length and breadth of country. Out of his mutt, after the Mahasamadhi of Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he started moving different part of the country, visited different states. What he saw? Wherever he visited, across the length and breadth of this country, he found always the ancient glorious past of this country was very visible before his eyes. It is the abject miseries of people of this country, going through difficulties in their life, not able to manage one-time food for their own. So he then realized, how can it be a country of such great can have people living with abject miseries at present? And if this continues, what is going to happen? So after visiting length and breadth of country, he met so many people, made his disciples, made good friends. One of them prominent to be mentioned here is Maharaja Khetri Ajit Singh, and similarly Maharaja of Mysore, and many other disciples. Perumal. So many disciples, so many friends he made, and he moved across the country and finally reached at Kanyakumari. And the time was December 25th, 26th, 27th, 3 days. When he reached at Kanyakumari, he was standing offering prayer before Mother Kanyakumari. And what was he asking for? Not asking for his own benefit. What was he asking for? How to uplift this downtrodden section of this country, how to improve the lives of less privileged of this country, how can we uplift these masses. So these are the prayers he was offering before Ma Kanyakumari. Then he swam across the sea at southern end of this country at Kanyakumari, then sat on the rock which is known as well known as Vivekananda rock. So he sat on Vivekananda rock, sat on that rock. That time it was not named as Vivekananda rock. He sat on that rock, and as I have said, it is December 25th, 26th, and 27th. He sat there for meditation. Again, what was he meditating for? For 3 days and 3 nights, he meditated for past, present, and future. The glorious past of this country, what is, then what will be the future of this country? So on this, he meditated. That's what we say, Rashtra Dhyana. It was the meditation for the country, meditation for the masses. And therefrom he realized, yes, I have to do something to uplift these masses. I will visit Western countries and seek some help for my people. It was 25th, 26th, and 27th December 1892. Then finally, on 31st May 1893, he started from Mumbai for West. Maharaja Khetri, Maharaja of Mysore, they all extended his financial help to attend World Parliament of Religion going to be held at Chicago in September 1893. One point needs to be mentioned. Before Swami Vivekananda visit, Maharaja of Khetri extended all his financial support, offered him the name, suggested him the name Vivekananda. To suggest the name Vivekananda. But the commitment to uplift the masses of this country. So these are the factors that transformed ordinary Narendra to extraordinary Narendranath, which later on became Vishwavijayi Vivekananda, a world-renowned figure. So he started his journey from Mumbai on 31st May 1893. He visited through China, Japan, and Canada. He came across the industrial progress in Japan, and that's where again he realized, if industrially so much rich this country can be, why can't we be so much rich industrially? Why can't we progress so much industrially? And it is said on the same ship in which Swami Vivekananda was traveling for West, Jamshedji Naroji Tata was one of his co-travelers. So he asked, and finally they introduced each other and came to know Jamshedji Naroji Tata is going to get technologies from abroad so that he can establish industries here in India. So there, when Swami Vivekananda came to know about this from Jamshedji Naroji Tata, the purpose behind his visit, then Swami Vivekananda suggested him, why don't you start a research institution, a scientific and technological institution in our country where our own students, own children can study there, do science, do advanced technologies, and so that we can go for our industrial progress. And that was the starting point behind establishment of Tata Institute of Science, which is now known as Indian Institute of Science, located at Bangalore. One of the premier scientific institutions, not only in India but also Asia. So that was the beginning of, and that's what again another commitment, intense love of Swami Vivekananda for betterment of this country, betterment of this Bharat. And finally he reached in July at Chicago. But the World Parliament of Religion was supposed to be held on September 1893. And Swami Vivekananda reached Chicago in in July 1893. So 2 months almost. So Chicago is being a costly city, cost of living is high. He realized he cannot survive there, do not have so much money. So finally he was persuaded by someone to move to Boston, and then he moved to Boston from Chicago, and then there, having no friend, no one to help him, doesn't know, remember what Swami Vivekananda had, never visited West, not having so much wealth which can help him, his life, we can take care of his livelihood during his living in Western countries, in America, doesn't know anyone, no place where to live. What was his strength? On what basis he was living? The strength was intense love for this country, commitment to solve the problems of the poor, underprivileged, downtrodden section of this country, to make their lives better. So that was his strength, intense commitment. And second, strength of spirituality, the gift of India to the world, that was his strength. With these strengths, Swami Vivekananda went to abroad. So somehow in Boston, he was there, and finally at Howard University, he came in contact with Professor John Henry Wright, who met Swami Vivekananda, and Swami Vivekananda narrated him that in order to take part in World Parliament of Religion to be held in September 1893 at Chicago, I need to have certain credentials, but I do not have any credentials. Remember, the ordinary young man Narendranath visited America at the city of Boston in Howard University, meeting a professor, and it's sharing his experience. I do not have any credentials to take part in World Parliament of Religion. So then, after listening, listening Swami Vivekananda, the Narendranath, Professor John Henry Wright told him, to ask you, Swami, for your credentials, it's like asking the sun to state its right to shine. Then Professor John Henry Wright wrote a letter to organizers of World Parliament of Religion. Remember what is he writing? Howard Professor in those days in 1893. Here is a man who is more learned than all our learned professors put together. And this is what the letter, credentials letter, Swami Vivekananda carries and finally reaches Chicago in September, 9th September 1893. The World Parliament of Religion to be started on 11th September 1893. But young Narendranatha, with having the letter of credentials from Professor John Henry Wright, he reached there, but unfortunately he found he lost the letter of credentials, and second, the letter of getting hospitality facility to stay there during World Parliament of Religions. So in city of Chicago, a cold country, young Narendranatha reached on 9th September. Where to live? No address, no one known is there. So what he did, finally he had to spend whole night in such cold condition in railway freight yard. Whole night he spent. Remember, on 11th September, World Parliament of Religion is going to be held. On 9th September, young Narendranatha doesn't find any suitable place. He is not welcome as a guest by anyone in that country, in that city of Chicago. No place to live, no place to spend night. Finally, the railway freight yard could help him, provided him shelter in such a cold condition. Next day, he could find someone, George W. Hale, who later on became Swami Vivekananda's disciple, and Swami Vivekananda's address was her address, George W. Hale. On 11th September, Swami Vivekananda takes part in World Parliament of Religion, and what is he saying there? All of us are familiar with this, the famous Chicago speech made by Swami Vivekananda on 11th September 1893. He started saying, never addressed such a gathering. The Art Institute of Chicago auditorium was filled by 7,000 audiences. He has never addressed such a gathering. Reminded Goddess Saraswati and started his speech addressing the audiences, sisters and brothers of America. And he got applause for 2 minutes, non-stopping. What he said, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of Mother of all religions. So these are the messages Swami Vivekananda shared, and he gave the most prominent messages all of us need to note is, which we said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the universal brotherhood. You know, in Sanskrit we say, Ayam Nija Parubeti Ganana Laghuchetasam Udara Charitanamtu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It is Ayam Nija, this is mine. Parubeti, that is there, his or her or theirs. Mine and theirs, or his or her. These are the silly things. Who says these are the silly minds that speaks. Ayam Nija Parobeti Ganana Laghuchetasam. Lagu yani small, silly minds that speak this. But the generous people are those who consider whole world as family. And probably I'm going to speak on this if I do not think time will permit. But if you remember, just I'll quote here. I was supposed to quote it at the last, but let me quote it here. The whole world as family, we have realized during this period of COVID crisis, the supply of hydroxychloroquine to whole world, despite having shortage in our country to some extent. It is India that extended all possible help in supplying this hydroxychloroquine, which is the need of the hour, that was felt by several countries. So this is something, because our rich past or tradition has taught us to consider whole world as family. The problems of others are the problems of ours. So Swami Vivekananda, this is one message we need to correlate with this present circumstances. Swami Vivekananda says again, I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of this earth. We believe not only in universal tolerance, but we accept all religions as true. So this is like we say in Bhagavad Gita, Yatha nadinang bhavam vega samudrameva bhimukha dravanti. It's like different rivers, they are coming from different directions. Their source of origin may be different, but finally they are meeting the ocean. So similarly, different religions, their path may be different, but finally they are reaching God. So this was the powerful message. This rich cultural heritage of this country made the whole world realized through Swami Vivekananda long before, that was in 1893. Today we need not have to learn any lesson of tolerance from anyone. What tolerance is, what acceptance is, very culture, very tradition of this country teaches us every time, reminds us every time. So these are the powerful messages we need not forget. Remember one very important point, especially for students. The day before, after listening, remember in World Parliament of Religion, after listening such powerful messages from Swami Vivekananda by whole world, Swami Vivekananda became most sought after person. Now let me remind you, the same person who was not getting any place to live, spend his night. He spent his night in cold weather in railway freight yard, became most sought after teacher, the celebrity, just after one day. He spent whole night in a huge box in railway freight yard just day before. The doors were closed with humiliating words like beggar, black dog, etc. The doors of, I have said, Mistress George W. Hale welcomed him. Remember, all the newspapers described Swami Vivekananda as the greatest figure in World Parliament of Religion. The simple man became the man of the hour. An unknown sannyasi became a sought after world teacher. Everybody wanted to be his guest, to be his host. And he was given royal reception. Again, Swami Vivekananda was not to be worried about royal reception. What was reminding him always, the luxury of West could not distract him from his dedication or commitment. Swami Vivekananda, he was the miseries or difficulties of his countrymen was there in his mind. He was always thinking, I was not here to get such name and fame, but to solve the problems of my countrymen. What am I doing for those? So these are the things he never distracted from his commitment, from his devotion, from his dedication. So these are the messages. What is that? Love for country, intense love for the country, to solve the problems of masses. So finally, he became a, as I have said, the most sought after teacher in America. And later on, it's very important to note, Western newspaper said how foolish it is to send missionaries to this learned nation. They should send missionaries to our country. And America thanks India for sending him and begs her to send many more like him. So these are the statement of President of Scientific Section of World Parliament of Religion. He said, by far the most important and typical representative of Hinduism was Swami Vivekananda, who in fact was beyond question the most popular and influential man in the World Parliament of Religion. And finally, he left. He started coming back to India, left for London in 1896. And before his departure, one English friend asked him, Swami, how do you feel like now? How do you feel? You have seen the powerful, the mighty West, luxurious and powerful West. Now, how do you feel? Then Swami Vivekananda says, again, very pertinent message we need to remember. India I loved before I came away. Now the very dust of India has become holy to me. The very air is now to me holy. It is now the holy land, the place of pilgrimage, the Tirtha. So this is the kind of love Narendranath was having for his country. And this is the factor that transformed him, helped him in transforming the ordinary young man Narendranath to Swami Vivekananda. On his return, he returned first. He reached at Colombo in 1897. On his return, Ananda Bazar Patrika said, does not this remind us that India is also a conquering country, though it conquers in its own way without the help of steel, gunpowder and dynamite. So it was the power of spirituality that has conquered the whole world. Swami Vivekananda said in his address, Colombo to Alamoda of India, conquer the whole world with your spirituality. Swami Vivekananda, while living in West, wrote a letter, very pertinent why I am saying this, wrote a letter to his disciple Alasinga Perumal at Madras. What he says, so long as the millions live in hunger and ignorance, I hold every man a traitor who, having been educated at their expenses, pays not the least heed to them. So this was the kind of love and dedication Swami Vivekananda was having for his country. The words of Swami Vivekananda about universal brotherhood will remain relevant for generations to come. I will quote Sri Aurobindo here. What he said, the going forth of Vivekananda to West was the first visible sign to the world that India was awake, not only to survive, but to conquer. Of course, conquering by our own way, by spiritualism. Remember, yoga, the whole world, 193 without any dispute, for the first time without any vote of dissent in history of United Nations General Assembly, International Yoga Day. This is the kind of strength this rich tradition, rich culture of this country is having. So, having all these strengths in mind, let us carry forward what to do. Swami Vivekananda, I will not take more time. I will speak very relevant points again. Quickly, I will wind up. What Swami Vivekananda said, what was our causes of our downfall? The neglect of the masses of India, loss of our self-confidence. We do not have So that we need to get today. Laziness and meanness manifested in form of jealousy. Three of us, we cannot work together. Less of organized work, less of disciplined work is not there. You can see today, even the death is knocking our door at this period, but we cannot. Of course, the whole country has shown the unparalleled dedication by following the government advisories, but still we find reports people are unable to follow these advisories, going out home and breaking advisories and other things, which is creating trouble for not only themselves but others also. So what I am saying, loss of self-confidence, not able to do organized work, not disciplined. So these are the points we need to work. Neglect of women. Vivekananda College being a college of girls, it's a very important point. Swami Vivekananda is focused. I'll not be able to cover more on this. Neglect of women, he pointed out, is one of the key factor behind our downfall. So we need to work on this. And second, lack of men making education. What kind of education is need? We need such sort of education by which one can build its own character, one can stand on its own feet. So that's the kind of education we need. So for younger generation, what is he suggesting? I'll quote here: young men, young girls and boys, remember this, very important: do not destroy. Do not destroy. If you can, break not, pull not anything down, but build. Help if you can. If you cannot, fold your hands and stand by and see things go on. Do not injure if you cannot render help. Take man where he stands, and from there give him a lift. Bharat tere tukde honge is not going to solve the problem. Yes, we understand problems are there, but mere questioning is not going to solve the problem. Remember, one key message you need to understand. Swami Vivekananda was hankering to meet God, but merely asking question, he did not stop at mere questioning. He sought after the answer. He visited whole country. He realized what are the problems, what are the strength of this country, what are the factors responsible for the country. Mere questioning is not going to solve the problem. So the point you need to remember is, do not destroy. Second point, elevate the masses. Mass can be elevated. Know your past, the glorious past. Out of the past is built the future. So know your past. What was there in your ancient days? So have respect, have sense of pride for that. If there are certain shortcomings, I will say shortcomings, if they are not relevant in present context of time, then try to make modifications, but try to know what was there in real sense. Respect the great personalities of this country. What were their contributions? What were the inspiring factors in their life? So try to read about them. Do not only comment on listening about great personalities of this country. Read about them, do some research, try to find out what are the real facts. So respect the great personalities. And education. Education is the need. So I'm reading the quote. Education is not the amount of information that is put into your brain and runs riot there undigested all your life. We must have life building, man making, character making, assimilation of ideas. If you have assimilated 5 ideas and made them your life and character, you have more education than any man who has got by heart a whole library. So this is what the kind of Swami Vivekananda has given to us. And finally, he says, it's the responsibility of the younger generation. My faith is in younger generation, the modern generation. Out of them come out workers. They will work out the whole problems like lions. So what was the, how can young generation help? you need to have a feel from heart. You need to know the remedy and have pure motives without any expectation. Today's present scenario, I'll quickly wind up. If you look at this COVID crisis, remember so many thousands of daily wages people, or people those who are not having even home to live, those who are unable to arrange one time food for them, see the kind of difficult time they are going through. So what is our duty today? We need to serve them, and serving, not having with any expectation, without having any expectation. So in Sanskrit we say niskama buddhyartha vipanna seva, यानी without any expectation. निष्काम बुद्धिर्थ अर्थ और विपन्नों का सेवा करना है without having any expectation. So this is something, it's the need of the hour. And second very important thing, very important message, or the, I would say, the solution, relevant not only for India but also for the whole world. The powerful message which Swami Vivekananda has given, renunciation and service. It is the national ideals of this country. Tyaga evam seva, renunciation. Maybe you must be going through, you need to minimize your wishes during this COVID crisis. Maybe you are thinking to go outside, do something else, you are not able to. So these are something you have to compromise your wishes, minimize your desires. See the kind of contribution we have made, this lockdown has made. Of course, this is unfortunate duration, unfortunate timings we are going through. But you see the kind of media reports we are going through. The wild animals are coming on streets. Nature is becoming, taking its own shape. People could see Himalaya from Saharanpur. Yesterday I saw news from Saharanpur. They are able to see Himalaya. From Pathankot they are able to see Himalaya. So these are the what I'm saying, saving the nature. So saving the nature can only be done by renunciation, by minimizing our desire. So these are the powerful messages which we need to adopt, not only now but also post-COVID challenges. And I'm sure one of another very relevant messages as far as our economy is concerned. I'm not an economic expert, but why I'm quoting this, one of the disciples, Western disciples of Swami Vivekananda was Sister Nivedita. Let me tell you, ideal for girls. He was more Indian than any other Indian. It was said by Bipin Chandra Pal. Sister Nivedita, the dedicated, it is said. It is said about him, the Lokamata. Rabindranath Tagore has said Lokamata. During plague in Kolkata in those days, Nivedita was at forefront. Nivedita started the school for children, women education, school for girls. It was the day when singing Vande Mataram was banned in India. Sister Nivedita, remember, he was a Britisher, an Irish citizen from Ireland, a disciple of Swami Vivekananda, started school for girls. And when Vande Mataram was banned in this country, Vande Mataram was the prayer of school, and that was the dedication of Sister Nivedita. And why I'm saying Sister Nivedita was also strong advocate moment. So they see we need to compromising our own wishes. Students, to some extent we understand the economical loss we are going to face post-COVID challenge. So the solution in something, generate something here, increase productivity. So these are the things also advocated by Sister Nivedita, and this during COVID crisis and post-COVID challenges also, this Swadeshi is going to help India to a great extent. So that is why I am mentioning this Swadeshi. I'll quote again. What did I cover? This Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath from his childhood to meeting his guru, then finally offering prayer to Kali, not asking for himself anything, then asking for himself, that is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So he realized nothing for self. He was made it realized by his teacher, that is Guru Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Then he tried to understand the whole country, not by sitting in library, by reading newspapers, reading editorials, reading TVs. What is happening in villages? How do you know? By sitting in TV, watching TV in capital here. So this is what today we find mostly. I'm not saying there are no problems, but try to understand what is the real problem. What is there in reality? So what I'm saying, Swami Vivekananda did not sit in a library. So he moved in across the country and saw what are the problems. And then he decided what is his mission of life. Then did meditation for the past, present, and future of the country. Then decided to go west and deliver the messages, powerful spiritual messages of India before whole world, and made the whole world realize the potential of spiritualism in India. Came back and again visited the whole country, that was north to south before visiting west, and come back from west, it was south to west, Colombo to Alamoda. So he has given, read those. So these are the powerful messages. I think I would stop here to take possible questions if I can answer them. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir. Nityananji, it was a really inspiring lecture. There are a number of questions in the chat box, sir.
So it will take time to read.
I'll just read out.
So if you can,
I'll just read
if
out
you
to
can
you.
pick it up, yes.
Yeah. There is a student asking, how can we maintain balance between our spiritual world and materialistic world?
Yes, you see, whole West has progressed, reached the zenith of material progress now.
Yeah.
But today, they realized without spiritualism, without spiritualizing the life, because the inherent requirement for a human being to survive is spiritualism. So what is spiritualism? It's not a formula or something. No, you think every other entity, not only human being, other existing living and non-living organisms are part of manifestation of what they do. Like me, if there is some problem for me, I am facing some problem, that means someone else also facing some problem. If someone else is crying, then there is certain difficulty I should also feel. So this is the kind of life, if you realize, I think that will solve all prevailing problems, not only before you and me, but also before whole world. I should not commit thing, I should not do anything which creates problems for others, which creates inconvenience to others. So I think maintaining balance, yes, no one is denying that you do not have technological advancements. You use all this. You see, today I would certainly say, I'll recall Madam was saying, Dr. Prince, Hina, beginning this webinar, and Dr. Nalini said so many webinars the Vivekananda College is organizing. See, pre-COVID situation, have you heard of webinars? I do not know how many of you have heard of, but today it is a very common. Every day you find messages about webinars for teachers, administrators, students. So many things are going on. So we are learning, we are exploring new techniques. So with technological advancement, I do not think there is any conflict between materialism and spiritualism. So I think there is a deficiency in understanding what spiritualism is. Atmabhat sarvabhutesu, what I have said is the word सर्वभूतेषु, सबका आत्मा में मेरे ही जैसा है, सभी में है. So ऐसा सोचने से सभी समस्या का समाधान हो सकता है. Hopefully I have addressed.
Thank you, sir. The other question is by Jivika. She says, what is bigger, our nationality or our humanity? Among these, what should be our priority?
What is humanity and other one?
Nationality.
Okay, nationality. See, humanity, it's no human, particularly for our context as a nation, you need to have, everybody should have a purpose of life. A human should have a purpose of life, right? So similarly, a nation is also having a purpose to fulfill. Particularly India, I'm saying. Particularly India, why is it relevant? You need to have nationality. Of course, humanity you need to have. Then nationality you cannot also forget, because particularly our country, because this India is something, has a greater role to play. We have a purpose. This nation has a purpose. It is not a geographical entity. It's not a geographical boundary only. So we'll be here and we'll rule others, conquer others. That's not the purpose of this country. We have a greater role. So this nation has a mission. So we need to have, that is why you need to have nationality as well. Of course, humanity, without any denial, you need to have. So probably today we are lacking this humanity in our society, where we need to work, we need to improve, so that many problems can be solved.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Agasti. It is a wonderful session going on. There are too many questions. I believe we can arrange for, if Principal Ma'am allows, one day we can arrange for another session with Dr. Agasti to.
Okay, let's see possible.
Yeah. Over to Dr. Hina Nandrajog, our Principal Ma'am. Hello, Hina Ma'am.